Thank you, Anupamda, for the generous introduction. Honorable Vice Chancellor, distinguished guests, distinguished professors, esteemed guests, and my beloved students. Today you start your day probably here in Royal Global University. Your career started. I understand you are coming from various places, from various cultures. So therefore, you may not be acquainted in a similar or respond in a similar manner. But your responsibility remains the same. The responsibility for the country, for the development of this country. Let me tell you a small story. A young woman, just newly married, she keeps on calling her mother, other members in the family are really happy. Somehow I can't be happy in this family. I'm getting hard time. The mother calls her one day, says, why don't you come at home? She goes home and the mother starts boiling some water, put some egg, carrot and a tea bag together. The egg looks very hard from outside. After boiling, it looks hard from outside and also became hard from inside. The carrot, it looks hard. It was hard. After boiling, it looks hard, but became soft inside. On the other hand, the tea bag, what it did, it changed the color of the water. So basically, now you understand, in a similar environment, various people, they react in a very different way. The how you will be reacting is up to you, but your career starts from here. I understand you start your academics right now, academic career. You are looking for success. Success is something is very easy, but is very difficult to achieve. You have to be very, very disciplined. You have to follow some path. What needs for the success? First and foremost thing, you have to have a vision. The vision, that means dream. The dream, what you see at night while sleeping is not the dream. Dream, what that doesn't allow you to sleep. That is said by our honorable, the previous President of India, APJ Abdul Kalam. Let me tell you a story of what kind of vision. A young gentleman somewhere in Europe met an accident. Now he is sharing the hospital room with a senior citizen who is a heart patient. And because of his multiple fracture, this young gentleman cannot really move and he is in fracture. And so therefore he is lying bed all the time, 24 hours. However, on the other hand, the senior citizen was a heart patient. Doctor advised him to, walk a little bit here and there. But the senior citizen used to go to close the window. And because of curiosity, this young gentleman used to ask, what do you see through the window? The senior citizen used to tell him, I see the blue beach, people are playing volleyball, people are surfing, and so on and so forth. That actually felicited this young gentleman to recover fast. Unfortunately, within few days, that senior citizen died, and because of this inspiration thing, that young gentleman, he recovered fast, and he can walk now. He went to see the window, what he can see. He saw nothing but the wheelboard, and he thought this senior citizen was lying. He asked this nurse. This senior citizen was sharing the room. He was lying. Well, no, sir. He's blind last 25 years. He never had sight, but he had the vision. Because of that vision, he, insisted or probably encouraged this young gentleman to recover much faster. So we are talking about that kind of vision, that we are not talking about the sight. Not only vision, you have to have the hard work. Even if your luck also doesn't work if you don't work. Luck also has to work. I can take a couple of examples. The diamond and coal are the same thing, the carbon. The carbon goes to the huge pressure. Only after huge pressure, the carbon becomes diamond. The oyster, the pearl, we wear the pearl. The oyster has to go through the severe pain, then only we get the pearl. The goldsmith has to beat a gold wire many times to give it a shape, to make ornament. That means one has to hard work. There is no other alternate other than hard work. There is no shortcut. You have to be a very hard-working individual to see the success. What else we need? We need confidence. Yes, you can do it. You are the one who can do it. Once again, I'll tell you a small story. You'll like it. A young girl was traveling in aeroplane. All of a sudden, there is huge turbulence. But this young girl was kept on reading Harry Potter. And she kept on giggling. And that people are worried. People started crying. The next passenger was very angry, very upset, and said, "What you are? People are so, worried. What is going to happen?" What she replied is very unique. She said, "I have confidence." What the confidence is? Do you know who is the pilot? Pilot is my father. So you have children. You are successful. You are here. You have your parents. You are in good hand. You are in this university. So you are already in good hand. You have the confidence. You will be successful. Persistence. This another ingredient is very important. So if you once fail, actually failure is the pillar of success. I can tell you one small story. Probably this story almost all of you know. The Robert Bruce, the king of Scotland. He fought against English many times, 6 times. Every time he lost. He was almost lost his hope. Then what he did is he just took shelter in a cave. He saw a spider is trying to climb. The spider failed 6th time, and 7th time he was successful climbing on the roof. And he got inspired. So that is, now he thought, I should give another chance. He arranged all his soldiers, etc. He came back again, fought another time. This time he was successful. All I am trying to say, this is once failure, twice failure is not the end. So you have to be persistent. I have taken this example of the Westerner, but certainly I would like to take another example. Once again, our Honorable, the President of India, APJ Abdul Kalam. If India produced one single scientist after independence, that is Professor APJ Abdul Kalam. He had the dream that he will become an Air Force pilot. So he tried his best, and finally that day came for test. The test was somewhere in upstate, somewhere in close to Haridwar or somewhere. There was 9 seats. There were 8 seats. Unfortunately, his rank was only 9th. So he could not make it. Up to reaching there, but he had to sell his sister's bangle. Now he doesn't have a penny to go back. And how he will cope up, how he will say, what will say to his family. Now he goes to cleft, and he was almost committing suicide. From the back, Rishi, the monk, that comes in. Say, beta, tumhari kya ho gaya? Why you were so upset? Says, ऐसा है कि what happened is, मेरे तो नौकरी तो नहीं मिला. I have no other way other than committing suicide. तो बोलता है कि वो तो बाद में वो देख लेंगे क्या हो गया नहीं हो गया. एक काम करो, अभी चलो मेरे आश्रम पे चलो. तो he took him his ashram. In the evening, they did talk, chat long time. And then next day morning, he was leaving. Paisa sa diya. So the last sentence was very, very important. Say, you could not make it for a pilot, Air Force pilot. तुम्हारे लिए आगे बहुत कुछ लिखा हुआ है. Now everything is story. Now he became the President of India. So that means what you are, once you fail is not the end. You have to try harder. So that is, you have to be, you have to do it. Probably last 2 more ingredients I'll talk about. You have to be humble. Today, if you see, this is ministers or vice chancellors or all. You go outside his home, you'll see there are 3 pages of degree written. FNA, DNA, RNA, all kinds of long degrees. But one has to be very humble. I can tell you another story. This Kurukshetra war. भगवान अर्जुन का रथ का क्या नाम था? Anybody? Kapidhwaj. Do you know why it is Kapidhwaj? Because Bhagwan Hanuman ji was sitting on top of the rath. And एक कृष्ण जी का बड़े चाल था. कृष्ण जी हनुमान जी को बोला जे चल ये रथ पे बैठ जा. कहते हैं मैं तो रथ में बैठूंगा नहीं. बोले क्यों? मुझे बोले ये करना है, भगवान का नाम जप करना है. कहता ये सत्संग है क्या जो नाम जप करना है? कहता है मैं कुछ नहीं है, हमारी करना है तो करना है. कहते बैठ तो श्री. तो हनुमान उसके रथ के ऊपर बैठ गया, इसलिए इसका नाम है कपिध्वज. जब अर्जुन ये तीर मारता था, किसके साथ युद्ध हुआ था? करण, राइट? कोई बोलता क्यों नहीं है? तो उनका रथ पीछे हट जाता था, कई दफा पीछे हट जाता था. अर्जुन बोलता है देखो हमारी शक्ति देखो. उसके बाद जब कई बार हुआ, उसके बाद करण का रथ जल गया. तो इस टाइम फॉर एंड. तो भगवान श्री कृष्ण बोलता है अर्जुन तू उतर. बोले क्यों? पहले उनको उतारो. तो मैंने नहीं, पहले तू उतर. तो वो उतरा, अर्जुन खुद उतरा. उसके बाद इशारा किया हनुमान जी तुम्हारी काम खत्म हो गया, तुम आके उतरो। जब हनुमान उतर गया तब देखा पूरा रथ ही जल गया। कहते ये क्या हो गया? तो भगवान श्री कृष्ण बोलता है तुम्हारा रथ तो बहुत पहले ही जल गया, पहले ही बहुत जल गया। जो रक्षा कर रहा था वो है तुम्हारे ऊपर जो बैठा हुआ था। कभी ऐसा नहीं है, ऐसा सोचना भी नहीं है जो तुम सर्वश्रेष्ठ हो। यू हैव टू बी हम्बल, मोर यू क्लाइंब अप यू हैव टू बी मोर हम्बल। सो दैट इज द ब्यूटी। ऐसा है कि दैट इज व्हाट जो अर्जुन को वो श्री कृष्ण, भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने सिखाया, ये तुम नहीं हो, तुम्हारे ऊपर भी और कोई बैठा हुआ है। एनीवे, सो आई हैव टोल्ड यू द सेवरल स्टोरीज। तो स्टोरीज, दीज आर ऑल स्टोरीज फॉर योर स्टूडेंट्स। ऑफ कोर्स आई एम ऑन द डायस, आई हैव टू टेल सम स्टोरी फॉर द टीचर्स ऑल्सो। So the only one story I'll tell you for the teachers. Today India is a very different India. India is progressing. If you go out on the street, you'll see the highest number of UPI transaction happens in India today. Even the rickshaw pullers, even the vegetable sellers, everybody has UPI. Even the few paisa, you do transaction UPI. Rickshaw pullers can afford cell phone. The farmer daily wager can afford cell phone. And India is progressing. In fact, India can take the lead. A glimpse we have seen during COVID period. India is the country who produced vaccine. We manufactured vaccine and we supplied more than 200 countries. That means our Indian population can do it and we are doing it. India reached to the moon, although we reached to the moon the fourth in line, but our reaching to the moon was very unique. We reached to the South Pole, and not only that, if you calculate per kilometer the fund we spend, which is not even auto rickshaw, the fare per kilometer we spend. That means the India can show the path. That is what India is. Now we have to keep that spirit up. Now let me tell you the story for the teachers. When Bhagwan Ramchandra studied for exile, पहली बार चित्रकूट पहुँचे। चित्रकूट पहुँचने के बाद थोड़ा सा बैठे हुए, मैंने बंदे भी सोचा कि कहता है भगवान पधारे, थोड़ा सा उनसे मिल लेता हूँ, उनका हाल पूछ लेता हूँ। तो बंदे भी आए, आके बोलते भगवान जी आपके लिए क्या कर सकता हूँ? कहता है फल मूल तो बाद में खा लेंगे, तो मेरे लिए एक छोटा सा काम कर दो। मैं जिस रास्ते से आया हूं ना, उस रास्ते के सारे कांटे हटा दो। बोले तो आप तो पहुंच गए, अभी कांटे हटाने की क्या जरूरी है? कहते बात वो नहीं है, बात है मेरा जो पागल भाई है ना, वो भरत मुझे ढूंढता है, वो इसी रास्ते से आएगा। एंड एक्चुअली जब भरत वो उधर से स्टार्ट किया है, सो पैर में कोई चप्पल नहीं है। सब लोग पूछ रहे तुम इधर जा रहे हो तो जल्दी चप्पल तो पहनो। कहते नहीं, मेरे बड़े भाई इसी रास्ते से गुजरा, तो मेरे भाई का क्या फीलिंग था वो मैं लेना चाहता हूं। तो बंदे भी दोबारा पूछता है आपका भाई भरत आएगा, इतना नाजुक है जो वो छोटा छोटा कांटा उसको तंग करेगा? कैसे बात वो नहीं है, बात ऐसा है मेरे एक भी छोटा कांटे उनको फूक जाए, लग जाए, तो भरत मेरे भाई को लगेगा उनके कारण मेरे बड़े भाई को वनवास जाना पड़ा, इतना कष्ट सहना पड़ा। तो आप लोग टीचर है, यू आर द टीचर्स, यू आर द वन हु इज contributing for the progress of this country. You are the one who is showing the path. You are the one who is making future generation. तो आप लोगों के विनत, मैं विनीत नम्रता से बोलता हूँ, आज्ञा करता हूँ, ये व्हाट यू डू इज, आपकी जो कांटे आपने सहा वो रास्ते से हटा दीजिए, यंग जनरेशन को आगे बढ़ने दीजिए। यही यंग जनरेशन, ये हमारी भविष्य है, यही हमारी देश को आगे ले जाएगा, एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत यही बनाएगा। तो लास्ट ओनली वन लाइन आई विल से फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स, व्हाट यू आर डूइंग इज अ ग्रेट, यू डू इट ऑनेस्टी। तो एक जब भगवान राम वनवास शुरू किया, पहले जाना शुरू किया, तो माता कौशल्या देवी बहुत रोए धोए, बहुत सारे एडवाइस दिया। तो लास्ट सेंटेंस आपको आंखों में पानी ला देगा, जब बोला तू जो धर्म का रक्षा करता है वही धर्म तुझे भविष्य में रक्षा करेगा। सो देयरफॉर माय स्टूडेंट, व्हाट यू आर स्टडीइंग, तो विथ ऑनेस्टी एंड विथ हार्ड वर्क, दैट इज योर धर्म। उसमें कोई तो गलती मत रखना, उसमें शॉर्टकट नहीं करना, उसके साथ चीटिंग नहीं करना। ऑनेस्टी से आज करोगे, भविष्य यही तुम्हें रक्षा करेगा। एंड थैंक यू फॉर योर काइंड अटेंशन।